When a large secondary like Hodge Hill School in Birmingham has over 1,200 pupils and 150 staff, you'd expect the business manager to be pretty busy, but perhaps not as busy as Matthew Wheeler.
Through to Matthew, how can I help? Hi, through to Matthew, how can I help? Good morning, you're through to Matthew, how can I help?
Matthew's long-suffering colleague Julie explains.
He's extremely busy, extremely popular with all the staff. Any of the smallest little niggles they've got, they seem to come to Matthew to ask him for any assistance or advice.
I need to come and see you later, but I'll pop up to you when you're less busy.
Yeah, no, that's fine, just come up. My
Okay,
office
then.
is your office, you know.
To be honest, I hardly ever see him in the office. He's in and out all the time. And he's one of these people who never says no to anybody. I feel sorry for his family, really, because he never gets to see them. And that's Matthew. Crazy man.
I contacted Teachers TV for help because I feel that my workload is growing and growing, and whilst I enjoy the challenge of doing it, I'm aware that there's very little more I can take on now, and yet there still seems so much more to do. Since I started at the school 2 years ago, I've hit a personal obstacle and can't seem to drive forward. So I've got an increasing sense that things are beginning to go wrong because we've got ambitious improvements and I simply don't have the time to do it. I'd like, as a result of this programme, to feel that the burden is lifted somewhat from my shoulders, that the jobs that I am doing are the ones that really matter. And I go home at the end of each day or the end of each week with a sense that I've achieved what I need to achieve, rather than a sense of lots of little jobs being done and the strategic stuff going undealt with.
As Matthew struggles with organisation, we've organised for our expert life coach Gladina McMahon to visit Matthew and see if she can offer some much-needed help.
Hi Matthew, I'm Gladina.
Hello, Gladina.
Oh wow.
Sorry, You're through to Matthew. Look, I've just actually got a visitor come to see me at the moment. Can I call you back in half an hour? Okay, cheers. Sorry, going all the time, phone in here, people coming through the door. It's quite typical.
Well, if that's the case, could we go somewhere quieter maybe?
The school library's quite quiet at this point in the day.
Oh, well, lead the way.
Okay. Do you want to leave your coat here?
Great idea.
We'll escape before the phone rings again.
Well, Matthew, tell me, what are your challenges in this school?
The challenge is one of fitting everything in to the working day. Mm-hmm. There's a lot to be done and only a very small number of hours in which to do it. Mm-hmm. I'm not alone in taking work home with me here. All of the leadership team here work through their lunches. Mm-hmm. Quite a lot of the support staff do as well. Mm-hmm. And the work seems never ending.
What does your role actually entail?
As the school's business manager, I lead the support staff here. Mm-hmm. We have a team of 65 people, including classroom assistants, reprographics technicians, librarians, etc. Via a middle management structure, I directly line manage about 25 of those staff. And also have responsibility for the grounds, the catering and the cleaning contracts. Mm-hmm. Although those personnel aren't employed by the school, I'm responsible then for another 35 to 40 staff on top of that. I am the member of the leadership team responsible for coordinating and delivering all of the non-teaching services that back up a busy urban secondary school.
That sounds like a huge number of people to manage.
It is. It's a large team, and it's quite a diverse team as well. I've been around long enough now that I'm seen as the the first port of call for what do we do with this.
Mm-hmm. If we think about your role and all the things that you do, what do you think you're not doing as well as you would like to?
I think that I'm not actually managing my time or my workload. It's managing me. Mm-hmm. I achieve a lot of what I want to do during the working week, but some of the things that don't get done are the things that are not immediately important, but in the longer term really, really need to be done. We've been sacrificing training and developing the middle managers here in order just to keep the school running and get stuff done on a daily basis. Then a lot of the work that I do, I'll take stuff home in order to work through it and to get it done. And that has the advantage that I can work uninterrupted, because I can get 2 hours in of an evening without phone calls, interruptions or the door opening. But that means that the children and the family are suffering, because I've got work at home with me and piles of stuff. Don't touch that, that's Daddy's, leave it alone, because it's paperwork for school, etc.
You are quite a fast thinker, aren't you, Matthew? I mean, I kind of sort of noticed that you can and you have the ability to jump from subject to subject very quickly.
Yes, and it's why I enjoy the job that I do. I will go in the course of one working day from looking at photocopier contracts to discussing menus with the chef, to doing a personnel review, to meeting with a parent, supervising pupils as part of corridor duty, etc. So each working day I wear several hats.
And that's perhaps one of the upsides of the job, but also one of the challenges. Okay, well, I think you've given me quite a bit to think about. But you know what I'd really like to do? I'd like to come and shadow you for a while. So shall we go back to your office?
Okay, fine.
Okay, you lead the way.
All right, okie dokie. I'll come and help. So where are you at the moment? Okay, cheers. Right, Julie, I've got a pupil who's been injured during a PE lesson. I need to go out and just have a look and make sure that's being dealt with properly. The rest of the leadership team are actually teaching, which means that I now need to go and respond, because of course I don't have a teaching load, so I'm able to drop what I'm doing and go and do it.
That's not a great idea. I know it has to be done, but I have to say that if that's a sample of the way that Matthew gets interrupted, I'm amazed he gets anything done.
The City Council said that they will make training available to lunchtime supervisors for free. So we'll just find out who's after me now. You're through to Matthew, how can I help? Okay. Cheers, Claire. And they've gone.
And they're gone.
So in dealing with one issue, I've now lost the other. Yeah, I think it needs more than a bit of super glue. Have the site staff been to look at it?
May I have the use of your photocopier?
Of course you can, sir.
Thank you very much.
Face up.
Is that why I've got a blank piece of paper?
Yeah, because you photocopied the back. You've got a perfect copy of the back of the piece of paper. Gary, are the wasps actually alive? Is the nest active? Thousands of them. All right, okay, fine. I'll meet you around there. So when are pest control coming up?
Sometime this afternoon, that's it.
Sometime this afternoon. Are wasps chargeable, do we know? I think they are.
I think they are, yeah.
Yeah, fine.
How long has it taken you to get back to this point?
Well, I think probably about 10 minutes.
No, more like 30.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. More like 30 minutes, and guess what? Have you had that conversation you needed to have?
No, not yet.
Matthew, I don't know about you, but it seems to me we've done an awful lot of walking around corridors. How about if you and I go and find somewhere quiet to have a chat?
Good idea.
Lead the way. Well, Matthew, thank you very much for letting me spend today with you. I have to admit my feet are sore. I've followed you here, there and everywhere, and I've just kind of realised what a challenge you really are up against with the interruptions and the phone calls. Typical, isn't it, today for you?
Yes, it is. It's been a fairly typical day. People phoning me up, emails coming in that need to be responded to, people then actually coming into the office, or then catching me out and about school whilst I'm walking round.
And I think the thing that struck me is, you know, your personality type is someone who loves that kind of pressure. You're very quick thinking. In fact, possibly a little too quick thinking. Because I think what may happen is that you don't give yourself enough time to consider the best type of response, because you're very reactive in what you do. Something happens, so you do it. What I have noticed is that you don't delegate enough. You automatically take on a task just because someone's asked you to do it. And actually, you've now got to the point where if you continue to do that, it can only get worse. And it's not really probably your best management strategy, because you do have a team. I mean, today, for example, when I asked you about one of the issues, you said, well, it's easier for me to deal with it.
Yes.
That's not a good answer. You need to be the right person for them to get hold of, not the easiest. Now, my guess is because you are so readily available to everyone, people have come to think of you as the sort of all-seeing fountain of knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's a compliment to you, but it's also a millstone round your neck. I'm thinking maybe the first thing that I'd like to suggest for you is for you to stand back, think about all the members in your team, have discussions with each of them about the kind of responsibilities they could take off you. And I think that's really important. And secondly, you have a lot of people to manage. What I'd like you to do is to actually schedule in what may seem like time you cannot spend at the moment, but I think will reap rewards in the longer term. I want to actually have a one-to-one meeting with each of these people, your key people, about what's working well, what isn't working well, how you can maybe improve the system, what things they can take on, what things should come to you. And thirdly, the last thing, it's a very simple word, and I know it goes against the grain, but I want you to start to say no. It's something I've picked up walking around the school, that people say, Matthew never says no.
That is something I find very difficult to say. It's not instinctive to me. If a job can be done, then to my mind it should be done. And if I can do it, therefore I should do it.
Well, do you see that there's a fault in that kind of logic? After all, I could say to you, my house needs cleaning, Matthew. Would you like to come and do it?
See, there's a part of me that would actually say yes.
Oh, come on, I'll give you the address. You can come over.
All right, I'll start now. No.
But do you see the dilemma that you're in?
Yes.
And it will get worse. So please, if you don't take action now, in another year, there'll be an extra percentage on your shoulders, and another year after that, another percentage. And the fear I have for you is that what could then happen is that not only could you become severely stressed, personally, but you'll become so disillusioned with the deluge that you cannot fulfill in terms of requests, you'll leave. And that's the worst thing that could happen to this school, because you are an incredibly valuable asset.